All right, Shalom. Call Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Kodash, which is the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, the holy tongue for the one true name of the Heavenly Father being Yahweh, and that of the Messiah whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, being Yahweh Shai. Those are the only names given among men whereby ye may be saved, point blank, period, man. The name of Yahweh, that we reach through the name of Yahweh Shai, the mediator, the Messiah, right? The only vessel to reach us to perfection that we may obtain and fulfill prophecy, man. Right? Because as we know, the outline of these scriptures, right, which would be the prophecy of these scriptures, the bone structure of them, if you will, right? It allows us to understand the breakdown and the timeline of these scriptures, man. But before I continue to go in on that, I'm going to give double honors unto the elders and the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere, peaceful, blessing salutations unto all those of you hopeful, faithful, potential members of the elect out there doing the best to make the calling of their election sure, man. This is the book of Revelation, the 11th chapter. And, Salakia, not Revelation 11. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11, and it reads, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doeth judge and make war." Right? And this is speaking about the Messiah, right? Whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, I had mentioned earlier. Right? When the Messiah returns, now that he fulfilled his role as the Lamb, he's going to return to do what? To obtain the kingdom, man. To receive the kingdom, right? To strip it from the hands of these kings, right? And to establish a theocracy on this earth, man. That's what all prophecy leads to, is a theocracy, right? When you look up that word, a theocracy, it's a world governed, right? A government governed by the Heavenly Father, man. Right? And ultimately it's going to be, governed by the Heavenly Father through the elect, right? 144,000, right? Beginning with the Messiah, right? He that stood a little taller than the rest of them, right? He's going to, the one who's doing the crowning, right? There's going to be a theocracy set up, man. And an order within that theocracy, right? Again, beginning with the Heavenly Father, which these governing systems, right? They govern in the favor of the nations who are in rule, right? In modern times, that would be the beast who's in power today. These Edomites, man, right? Scriptures refer to their system as a beast system, right? This beast governing system over the earth today, right? Who, again, it favors them because they are who are in power, man. Just as it did in ancient times, right? The Romans were the ones who were in power. They were the ones who were receiving taxes, right? Heavily taxing and enslaving those underneath them, right? Chiefly being the Israelites, man. Right, and I say this to back up to the previous verse, as I was speaking of prophecy earlier, right? Verse 9, it says, "And he said unto me, right, blessed are they which are called." So like verse 10, it says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him. Then he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship God, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy." You see, the spirit of prophecy, man. Again, the bone structure of these scriptures. The way the Heavenly Father mapped out or outlined these scriptures is he created the earth, right? And he created a people to govern this earth. Those people were the Israelites who would govern the earth, establish that law within it, right? This is why we have scriptures such as this. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. It says, "Know ye not," or Salaki, "do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest of matters?" Right? So the world's going to be judged by the Israelites, not just any Israelites, but the elect of the house of Israel, right? Those who Yahushua will crown to be those judges, right? To establish that theocracy on this earth. So the Heavenly Father created this earth, right? And created a people to be the vessels to establish righteousness on it, man. To be the judges, if you will. Right now you have false judges over it, which is why we go into Job 9 and 24, right? So you see how prophecy ties everything together, man. Just simply, I didn't even have anything ready for this lesson, but through the Spirit, knowing that once we started talking about the prophecies and the outline of these scriptures, so like in Job chapter 9 and verse 24, then things are going to start coming together, man. This is Job chapter 9 and verse 24, and it reads, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Right, so the true judges have been covered, man, because the earth's been given into the hand of the wicked, right? As the scriptures say, because of thy turning of things upside down, that it shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, man. This devil's turned everything upside down. They've set themselves up as the judges. They're even going to set themselves up as the Most High by causing you people to take that charagma and worship him, man. You see? So all prophecies adding up, man. It is all adding up and matching up. And now exposing who the wicked are. Exposing who the righteous are even. You see? We're beginning to see who the devil is, man. Right? Because again, the Heavenly Father created the earth, gave it to the Israelites to be the judges of it. But according to prophecy, we would lose that place. Right? We would go off. Which would give us a need for the Messiah. You see, so during this time, when Israel fell, all the way up until the time of Yahushua, the Messiah, right? Israel knew that they were waiting for a time of restoration. They were waiting for a time, right, for the kingdom to be built back up again. That's why they asked him. You could look it up. Many scriptures where they asked the Messiah, "Hey, will thou now at this time restore the land of Israel? Are you going to restore the kingdom to Israel?" But more prophecy had to be fulfilled. We had to fall away. We had to lose who we were. Yahushua had to overcome. Yahushua had to be that vessel, that sacrifice, the scapegoat, if you will, in order for Israel to be forgiven. That way we could obtain what was promised unto us, which is the earth. Establishing the kingdom of heaven. So the Heavenly Father is not a man that he should lie. You see? Leading us to what? Perfection, to the kingdom of heaven, man. Leading us to the time that we're approaching now. But this is the book of Luke, chapter 1. I'll just get straight to the point, man. Verse 70, it says, "As he spake by the mouth of the holy prophets which have been since the world began." And what was that, man? What was that he spake? Let's back up a verse. Let's back up a couple verses. Verse 68, it says, "Blessed be the Lord," which right here, "blessed be the Lord power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and hath raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his prophets, of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began." So since the world began, the Heavenly Father was speaking about how he would restore the Israelites by giving us the Messiah, by giving us that scapegoat, man, by giving us Yahushua, right? So this is all prophesied, man. You see, prophecy is the number one way to really destroy the false doctrines out there. Because again, it's the Bible, Salakia, the outline, right, or the skeletal system of the scriptures, man, right? The thing that holds everything together, the root, if you will, man. Going on, verse 70, it says, "As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to redeem his holy covenant." Right? Because that word salvation alone, this verse 71 defines that word, man. To be delivered from your enemies, man. To be saved from your enemies. That's what the word salvation goes into, man. Right? To be delivered from these heathens, man. So that the age of the heathen will be over and the age of the Heavenly Father will begin. You see the suffering underneath the age of the heathen. We all have to work. We all barely scrape by. We are born and die in debt. And meanwhile, whose pockets are getting fatter? Life after life after life after life. Those who are in power, again, it's built to favor them, man. And the rest of us are clawing out, even clawing out after one another, beating each other down so you could try to take the next man's cookies, if you will. So you could try to take what's his, so you could barely have enough to barely make it, man. So you see the sufferings underneath this devil, man. How he's set up this system to really beat up all of us, man. But the Heavenly Father is not a man that he should lie. Therefore, he's keeping his covenant pure by having given us Yahushua. And now you see the fruit of that today, man. The 12 tribes of Israel waking up throughout the four corners of the earth, getting up, proclaiming their pedigrees as prophecy would state, so that the Heavenly Father could return. And upon his return, do away with these old ways. Destroy and reset up, man. This is what prophecy is, man. Verse 72, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. And again, he's done that, man. That's why he gave us Yahushua, because he did not forget. Verse 73, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear and holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. So with that being said, I believe the point's been made, man. I just wanted to take a second to speak on prophecy and show its importance, man, and show how with prophecy, dealing with prophecy, all aspects of these scriptures tie together and make sense, man. So with that being said, again, Lord willing, this edifying, call Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim HaKakodash, double honors unto the elders and the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere peace, love, blessing, salutations unto all those of you hopeful, faithful, potential members of the elect, doing the best to make the calling of your election sure. Shalom wa abad babal.